Season 46, War number 2, and we are up against DSVG, and this time my team will be Chee'ilth, Hulk, and Lady Deathstrike. I will be taking Path 6 in Section 1, Path 5 in Section 2, that Void, Sauron, and Immortal Abomination, along with that Domino there on the right side. So once again, quite a few fights. This time my team will be one that I have never used before, so going in I am pretty nervous about a couple of these fights, but they should be good options, so we'll see how it goes. Up first here we have a Kitty Pryde on the Combat Deja Vu Prowess and Spiked Armor nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Lady Deathstrike or LDS. And this fight is a bit scary due to how Kitty Pryde works with that phasing, along with her being a defense tactic champion, making her specials unblockable, while also dealing a ton of damage with those Daunteds. However, LDS has the ability to completely shut down mutant defenders' unblockable and unstoppable abilities if you keep that heal block debuff up, and all you need to do so is just land your second medium and you are good to go. And that is why in this matchup I will not be trying to go for any risky intercepting, well, also for the fact that Kitty Pryde has her phasing to prevent that, and I just gotta make sure I keep the heal block up and especially have it on before baiting any specials, and the fight is fairly simple to finish out. It loses a tiny bit of health from chip damage, but honestly that went a lot better than I was expecting. Then next up we have a Titania on the critical setup and aggression prowess node, and I'm taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And the game plan here is to just start the fight off by baiting that haymaker route so I don't have to worry about it, and now I'm just gonna be baiting and punishing her special ones with my heavy attack. Titania is a tactic defender, so the specials will be unblockable and I will be getting rooted when she throws them, but the special one is fairly simple to dex, so I do just that and then punish it with my heavy attack to cause my bleeds and to inflict more of them. And as you can see, her health bar is going down pretty quickly. Now I must say, if you're not totally comfortable fully dexing those special ones, I wouldn't suggest doing so. Instead, play it a bit slower with the taunt and the steadfast from the attack tactic, and the fight should still be quite simple to take. Do expect to have to use a couple potions afterwards though, since Titania can hit fairly hard through the block. Then, next up we have a thing here on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Sadist nodes, and I am taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And this fight is gonna be a pretty long one, due to Chee'ilth's main damage source, especially Unawakened, being bleeds, which Thing is immune to. So I'm just gonna have to hit him with my basic attacks, and well, I'm gonna be spamming special ones, and then I just gotta use those to slowly and surely take him down. Now Thing is a tactic defender, so his specials will be rooting me and they will be unblockable, but once again, as with Titania, I am fairly confident that I can fully dex the specials, both of them, while rooted, so I'm gonna be doing just that. Though I gotta say, if you mess up a dex against someone, like Thing for example here, and the special crits, you are in trouble. If you're not straight up dead due to all the Daunteds and passive furies here, you are fairly close to it at least, at which point, well, good luck finishing out the fight without getting touched at all. So, under normal circumstances I would say just rely on the taunt and the steadfast to block the specials or bring a counter that finishes the fight a lot faster than this. Now, so far this fight has gone decently well. I am doing my best to land the intercepts to get the Ebb and Flow protection down as often as possible, but the AI being what it is, I'm having some trouble here and there to actually land the intercept. Now, it's not really a problem. Personally, I don't mind the fight lasting too long, so long as I can finish the fight clean, because, well, my previous few wars, even going back to Season 45, have been quite expensive. But, well, now that I think about it, none of you have seen the Season 45 wars towards the end of the season, because I have yet to upload them, but they are coming as well, though I don't think most of you even care at this point, since the tactic doesn't exist, especially in high tier wars anymore. That said, they are still coming soon. No exact dates yet though. Now, going back to this matchup, the fight is almost over, 2.5 minutes in, and I'm still at basically full health. All is well, but I will be making a tiny mistake here in just a moment. Now, I was planning on finishing this out here and now, but the protection, I couldn't get it down in time, and now I gotta worry about the rock stacks. And here, trying to go for a backdraft light intercept, I get caught by things, a light attack, and now I lost a ton of health just from a couple hits. So, just for showcase purposes, I will be going for my special 3 here, which does give Chee'ilth a quite a potent regen buff. She will either heal up 50% of the damage taken in this fight, or it will regen 15% of your missing health total, whichever is greater. So as you can see, it is quite a potent regen. I am gonna let it tick over for a little bit here before closing up the fight. Yes, I am wasting our fight time here, but this season fight time is not that important. Dying is what loses and wins the wars. And then we have a Sasquatch here on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Hulk. And I was slightly worried about this one, but I knew that Hulk should have the damage output to take this fight down at the very least. So just to be safe, I did use an invulnerability boost in case I had to resort to stun chaining this guy, and I could potentially eat a special 3 at some point. Now the game plan here is to get to my special 2, preferably with as many of those passive furies as possible, then land an intercept to remove the Ebb and Flow intercept protection, and then drop the special 2, hope it crits with the science boosts, and then back-to-back special 2s. However, the special 2 did not crit, so I didn't get to do that, but the damage is still quite nice, and now I have triggered my Gamma Rage, so I will be hitting even harder. And Sassy was nice enough to actually trigger his Wrath early for once, so there will be no damage reductions here either. Now the Wrath ended, the protection came back, but I landed a nice clean intercept to remove it, and now I just went for a special 1 stun lock to close out the fight. And I gotta say, this was a very clean one. I was expecting this to take a little bit longer, but it worked out very well, I gotta say. Next up we have a Void here on the 1 too many hits and Power Snack mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Chee'ilth. And this is where her utility comes into play with those cleanses. Now, one thing I should mention here is that Chee'ilth has a synergy with OG Hulk that allows her to start any fight with, I believe, 3 more cleanses than she normally would, which gives her a nice safety net against debuff heavy opponents from the very start of the fight. Other than that, she will gain 2 more of them whenever she gains one of those spirit charges throughout the fight, making her a very effective counter against someone like Void in this specific node. Both the Power Stings as well as Void's personal debuffs are getting cleansed as soon as I get them, so Void's intimidating presence damage doesn't really get to do anything here, while the bleeds just completely melt him. I did also go for a cheeky heavy counter here to pause those bleeds, and now he's basically dead in just under a minute. I figured the fight should go pretty well, but honestly she has exceeded my expectations already, and I still have another fight to do with her in just a moment. But before we get to it, we have another mutant here that we first gotta take down with Lady Deathstrike. And this fight is a Sauron on the Burden of Might and High Energy Diet mini-boss node. The game plan is fairly simple. I am gonna completely forget about trying to use LDS properly with the ferocity and all of that, and instead I'm just gonna focus on keeping the heal block debuff up throughout the whole fight, because as long as I can do that, Sauron will not be able to heal and he will not go unblockable at all, whether or not I have the taunt up for his specials or not. And that means I can either block or dex the specials just fine. If I dex them, I will get power drained by the Burden of Might node as soon as those dexterity buffs expire. But that is perfectly fine, as like I said, I will not be relying on any specials or the ferocity here. I'm just going to be relying on basic attacks and basic attacks alone. And so far the fight is going very well. Without being able to trigger any of those unblockable abilities, Sauron is quite a simple defender, and even with all those Dauntlets up, as well as me having to block some specials here and there, especially the special 2, I'm barely losing any health due to how tanky LDS is with those armor ups, as well as due to me running the Inequity Mastery and having all those debuffs up. Now, even with me being tanky here, I am still trying my best to full dex those special ones, simply to avoid any unnecessary chip damage, and even if I get clipped by the special, the unstoppable that LDS gets on the opponent's special attacks would be there to save me, so there's no reason not to even try to dex them. Overall, the fight did go well, and I will likely be using LDS in later wars this season as well. But on to the next fight, which is an Immortal Abomination here on the Hazard Shift, Shock and Incinerate along with Aggression Prowess, and I am taking this fight with Chee'ilth as well. Now, to be completely honest, I was very nervous about this one. I wasn't sure how well Chee'ilth would keep up with an opponent who inflicts as many debuffs as this one does, so the game plan was to use an advanced power boost to get to my special 2 as quickly as possible. The special 2 inflicts a tranquilized debuff on the opponent, lowering their debuff ability accuracy, which is exactly what I need here. Also, the Hulk synergy, instead of giving you 3 cleanses, will give you 8 cleanses at the start of the fight against Gamma opponents, which did come in handy here. Now at this point, since I have the Tranquilize up and I still have cleanses to go, this fight, well, it's basically over with. You can see his health completely melting from those bleeds, even though I didn't have that many on them. And that is mainly because the bleeds will also get enhanced against Gamma opponents. And yeah, the fight is over in around 40 seconds. I did lose a little bit of health due to me failing a couple intercepts and hitting basic attacks, as well as having to block a couple special ones, but overall that fight got completely nuked by Chee'ilth, and I don't even think the Hulk synergy was needed there. So for future reference, I'm probably not gonna be even bringing it if I can avoid it. And now we have the final fight of this war, a Domino on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power mini-boss node, and I am taking the fight with LDS. And LDS basically completely shuts the fight down. I have all those Rupture debuffs here giving me power from the Polka Dot Power node, and she's completely immune to ability accuracy reductions against mutant opponents, so Domino won't be inflicting any crit fail either. All I gotta do is just hit her until she drops and then, well, spam some specials here and there, might as well. Now there is still one thing that LDS does not prevent here, and that is Domino's evade. So whenever she goes lucky, I am gonna be avoiding hitting her too much, especially with my mediums. If she evades the first hit of a double medium, she can punish you without you being able to do anything about it, so just to avoid that outcome, I will do my best to avoid touching her for a bit. Now, I did get hit there due to a failed sidestep or shallow evade, whichever you like to call it, but that's fine. a couple basic attacks from Domino here will not be able to take down LDS due to how tanky she is. Although, if I got extremely unlucky and Domino got some lucky stuns in her basic attacks, that might have been a different story. So what I'm trying to say is, just don't get hit by Domino. Now, this fight is almost over, just a few more hits and some rupture ticks and down she goes. Now, LDS isn't exactly the fastest counter to Domino, but she is a very safe one, and not that difficult to use either. I highly suggest giving her a chance at the very least. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 20-6. Already a big improvement from War 1, but there is still ways to go, and I hate to say it, but all 6 of those deaths were from my BG. The other 2 BGs got donuts, so we really did drop the ball there.